Monster House is a 2006 animated children's horror comedy, directed by Gil Kenan, co-written by Dan Harmon of Rick and Morty, and executively produced by Steven Spielberg and Robert Zemeckis, the duo behind Back to the Future. Now, I may have said that this is a children's horror comedy, but I only say that due to its PG rating, as I feel like this film can only really be appreciated by older people, whether it's for its innuendos.
Homicide!
Chadwick, where are your parents?
My dad's at the pharmacy and my mom's at the movies with her personal trainer.
Or the filmmaking techniques or aspects. One of those techniques is foreshadowing. Spoiler alert, the titular Monster House isn't actually a monster, but instead the incarnation of 𝒞𝒶𝓇𝓉𝑒𝓇 wife. She was never a monster, but was instead created by monsters. Whether it be the carnival people that tortured her or the bratty kids that threw rocks at her. She's not a monster, but instead the embodiment of anger. Please ignore that she attempted to murder multiple children for this argument to make sense. Also, 𝒞𝒶𝓇𝓉𝓉 is thought to be the bad guy turned good guy in this film, when in reality he was always the good guy. He just needed to play a role to emphasize how no one should come close to his house, for their own safety. He wasn't evil, he was just concerned about the lives of innocent children. Before the intro rolls, I would like to say that I genuinely loved this film. Despite it scaring me like hell when I was a child, and most of the characters being stereotypes. Furthermore, it is actually funny, and the dialogue is witty and relatable. Not another screenplay written by 40-year-old executives who know nothing about film or children. Oh, sorry. Anyway, let's see how they foreshadow the plot twist to this film, and why it works. To start, I would like to say that I will be giving examples of foreshadowing in chronological order, then explaining why they work all together in a separate section. Now, to kick things off, the things that 𝒞𝒶𝓇𝓉𝓉 says to this little girl in the beginning of the film very nearly come true.
Oh, trespasser! Do you want to be eaten alive? No! Then get out of here!
However, when 𝒞𝒶𝓇𝓉𝓉 says, "Do you want to be eaten alive?" we don't think of the house at this point. We think that he is talking about what he will do. This is reinforced later on when Bones, Z's boyfriend, tells us that 𝒞𝒶𝓇𝓉 ate his wife. I just love how they did the old switcheroo and portrayed him like he was a delusional psycho, when in reality he just didn't want any dreadful things to happen to some poor unsuspecting kids. Another thing to note down is that when 𝒞𝒶𝓇𝓉𝓉 supposedly dies from a heart attack, we see these shots from inside the house, almost as if it's a first person perspective shot. This foreshadows that the house is not inanimate, and in fact a person. Talking about the shots themselves, they appear to show the house crying or being in some form of distress. This demonstrates how the house cares for the person it has encapsulated, 𝒞𝒶𝓇𝓉𝓉 being the person and the wife being the house. Another line that foreshadows the ending of this film is a line said by 𝒞𝒽𝓚. Within the second act, when Jenny is introduced and they investigate the house, 𝒞𝒽𝓚 says the line,
Guys, I think we're overreacting. I mean, think about it. Only a total moron would walk up to old man 𝒞𝒶𝓇𝓉𝓉's house.
This foreshadows the parallel made at the end of the film when actually everyone walked up to old man 𝒞𝒶𝓇𝓉's house. Another line right after this, said by one of the police officers, foreshadows the kids' adventures into the house when they are almost eaten by it.
But the next time any of you mess with this guy's house, all three of you going in the hole. You got it?
Don't touch anything and stay together.
That line could also foreshadow how the cops went down the hole as well. This piece of foreshadowing, while it is played off as a joke, still shoves the giant reveal right in our faces without any of us noticing. When inside the house, Jenny notices that the house has a uvula, and 𝒞𝒽𝓉𝓉 then says,
Well, if those are the teeth and that's the tongue, then that must be the uvula.
Oh, so it's a girl house.
yes, this is played off as a joke, but we don't think anything of it because Chowder said it and he has been portrayed as the stupid one, the screw-up in his own words. Carrying on, when 𝒞𝒶𝓇𝓉𝓉 is released from the hospital, we hear 𝒞𝒶𝓇𝓉𝓉 address his house with nouns such as honey, dear, and sweetheart. This right here is foreshadowing the reveal that the house is the incarnation of his wife. However, we don't think anything of it because we still think he's a psycho. Likewise, people often use female nouns and pronouns when talking about their prized possessions. When talking about their car or ship, one might say, she's a beast. I don't really understand why this is a thing, but a popular theory suggests that cars and ships carry and deliver people, just like a pregnant woman would. Therefore, while yes, 𝒞𝒶𝓇𝓉 is calling the house honey and sweetheart because it is actually his wife, we, the audience, assume that he is calling the house this because the house is keeping him safe by carrying him inside its body, like a pregnant woman would for her baby. This is right before we hear what actually happened to his wife, Constance, and get the reveal that she is the house. So this point is a bit of a stretch, however, in my opinion, it still doesn't withhold anything from the impact of the reveal. The reason why the foreshadowing works so well in this film is because it is very subtle, and when a line does foreshadow something, it has two meanings. The lines make sense and therefore don't stick out. The lines aren't shoehorned in there so the filmmakers can say they used the technique of foreshadowing something. They are written to mean two things, so people don't think much of these lines until their second viewing. Meaning that when a line ends up foreshadowing something, nothing deducts from the Meaning that when a line ends up foreshadowing something, nothing deducts from the reveal. A huge thanks to Dan Harmon and Rob Schrab for this amazing story that they wrote, and thank them again along with Pamela Petler for writing a wonderful screenplay with thought out dialogue. This film isn't a film I thought I would like once I got older. A few months ago I watched it for nostalgic purposes, saw the Amblin Entertainment logo and immediately thought, okay, so this is actually going to be good. Especially compared to the awful films I watched as a kid. Anyone remember the 1996 Good Burger film?
I'm cooking up in the lab like I'm Rick and Morty. 40 hour, hit a monster, turn your brain to pasta. Hit a hour, dread swinging just like I'm a roster. Smoking ganja and I'm zooted, walking in my products. Any nigga touch my gangster nigga, I'm a popper. And we ain't throwing hands with you fuck niggas.
What have you done?